Hello, everyone. Hey, it's our
Hey.
Monday night live stream talking about She-Hulk. She-Hulk episode 7. It's She-tember. It's not She-tember anymore. Oh, wait, it's Shocktober. Hulktober? She-Hulktober? It is October. Yeah, it's no longer She-tember. But it's She-tember as long as we're watching the She-Hulk. That's what I said.
Yeah, no, I was just like Shocktober. It makes it sound like we're watching a series about the Shocker.
Yeah. Think he's gonna show up in this on She-Hulk?
Mm,
No.
Doubt it. Isn't he get arrested in the last Spider-Man?
Yeah, so she could be his.
Oh, that's right.
attorney, right?
hmm
Yeah. We get Rory here tonight, as always. Yeah, episode 7. There's only one more episode left. Two more episodes.
There's going to be the one this Wednesday and next week Wednesday, and that's it. So we have stuff for next week, the 10th. We have something for next week, the 17th, and the week after that, the 17th. And then we've got 2 more Mondays left in She-Hulktober.
Yeah, Shulktober. I feel like She-Hulktober is too. It's not enough of a mashup of the two words, right?
Mm,
I don't know. Might as well just say She-Hulk October. She-Hawktober?
I don't know. I feel like She-tember is just gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's just She-tember.
I know.
We'll be the one group of people that aren't acknowledging that it's October and
Yeah.
do anything spooky. This is like it's like that Green Day song, September never ends, right?
Yeah. The song about his dad dying.
Yeah, it's like that.
I have no idea what the song about. I just remember hearing that when someone was making a joke about the "Wake Me Up When September Ends,"
Right.
and then they're like, "That's insensitive. That's about his dad dying." And it's like,
No.
really? I've never picked that up listening to the song ever.
That was on an American Idiot, right? There, that was their big anti, or their follow up to 9/11, anti-Bush stuff, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard figuring out what artists are really talking about. Is it September 11th? Is it the death of parents? Like,
Yeah. I mean, Billy Joe Armstrong's dad did die on one of those planes.
Oh, he did?
I don't know. Probably not.
yeah, he was in the building, not on the plane.
Oh, his dad wasn't Sheikh
deliberate.
I'm not gonna try to make up a name of it. I don't know.
Like Pete Davidson's dad.
Yeah. Oh, did he? Is that in the movie or is that real?
No, I think that's real.
Oh, wow. That's great. Why do people hate on Pete Davidson so much? His dad died in 9/11.
I don't know. He looks weird, I guess.
Yes.
I think he looks weird. He dresses like an idiot most of the time, and consistently dates girls that the internet wants to date, and doesn't think he should have the ability to date, and
right.
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
He absolutely blows the existence of Out of Your League completely out of the water.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, sorry. You're just not interesting or funny enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's say She-Hulk, out of my league. Also, Jen Walters, out of my league, right? Both.
Yeah.
That the dichotomy of those two. It's a big theme of this movie, or not movie, episode. Man, what if they made a whole movie just about this one episode? Is that what that movie, The Retreat, was about? Is that even a movie?
I forgot that was
The Retreat.
Yeah. I got mixed feelings about this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, on the one hand, thank you. On the one hand, I feel like this episode did the best job of showing the difference in similarity between She-Hulk and He-Hulk.
Hmm.
The fact that like regular Hulk, Man Hulk, He-Hulk,
He
has
slash him Hulk.
yeah, he slash Hulk. I like that. Has problems with his anger management and how he's like repressing his rage, but like his anger is something that he always wants to let out and he's holding back on, right?
Right.
And the Hulk form kind of forces him to let it out. And Jennifer Walters has, you know, self-esteem issues, and like she clearly said right in this episode, She-Hulk is the best, is the version of her that she wants to be all the time, and she can let it out, but she still has a hard time accepting that that's that's another part of her personality, but
Right.
she still wants to be accepted as She-Hulk, but as Jennifer Walters, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like this really nailed even though their symptoms are manifesting in different ways, the Hulk does the same thing to both of them, where it creates that psychology. Um, but then that was the appropriate response to
Yeah.
to that. Um,
I tried to mute my microphone. It's too late. Too slow on the mute.
um, and then like on the other hand, this one I feel like it just kind of doubled down on using people that are actively trying to better their mental health being the butt of a joke, which I get it's funny, and in the context of a sitcom I get it, but at the same time I feel like just in general like the comedian in me is like, that's punching down. Those are people that are asking for help and we're portraying them as stupid or um,
It's
not
laughing
worthy
at
of
fat
respect.
people in the gym.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Like they're trying to not be that. Why are you mocking them for trying to be something else?
and I mean, I can see that. I guess it's also that I can see that there would be less down punchy ways of finding humor in that scenario. But yeah, so like that's the weird split on
Right.
this particular
Yeah.
episode.
Because these characters being there and doing their group therapy session, that's a joke in itself. You know, as
Yeah.
opposed to them just being funny within that context.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
one of the things that I always point out about why I hate Big Bang Theory is
yeah.
like if you subscribe to enough like nerd humor channels on like TikTok or YouTube or whatever, like you know that there's a lot of actual humor that can be dug up out of something like Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Big Bang Theory, on the other hand, says, "Hey, let's go and play Dungeons and Dragons," and the audience laughs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the idea
There's a
of
bunch of
playing the
nerds.
game is the joke in and of
Right.
itself.
Yeah.
And it's not any actual attempt at humor. It's just like, hey, look at this nerdy thing, laugh.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the way that they're approaching the uh, uh, the whole idea of this group therapy thing. It's not the therapy that makes it funny. Like later, as we get into the episode, like there are attempts made at actually using the therapy to generate humor,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but the initial idea behind it is like, we're going to have supervillain therapy. That's funny, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
Um,
the retreat is about a lesbian couple with a rocky relationship who goes on a pre-wedding retreat and ends up fighting for their lives when a group of militant serial killers tries to murder them. So,
Oh,
not a whole lot like this episode.
I bet we could find some similarities if we put them up against each other. Find some
Yeah.
similar beats. I say.
I mean, I'm sure one of those guys was militant and one of them was a serial killer. So
Yeah. And I would say that Jen Walters and and She-Help are sort of in some sort of way. Same sexual
Well, it's-
relationship going on there.
Yeah.
Or
There's a lot of like unresolved sexual tension between the two, regardless of whatever their orientation may be.
Right. So yeah, maybe we'll make a whole YouTube video about it one day if we ever watch The Retreat.
That being said, well, I do think that this is my least favorite episode of the She-Hulk so far. I still like the episode; like it was still fun, and other than like me quipping or me having issue with that the jokes were being made, the jokes were still funny, if that makes sense. Like if you take out the punching down and they're just like, well, they're super villains and we're making jokes about it, okay, then they're still funny. I enjoyed that.
The idea of supervillain group therapy was unfortunately a much better joke in Wreck-It Ralph than it was here.
Yeah.
But in here, to their credit, it's actually being played kind of seriously with the villains trying to be better people.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the whole idea behind Wreck-It Ralph is like, no, bad guys can be good guys. Or bad guys can be good people. But they're still bad guys.
Unless they want to be better. So in the group therapy session we've got Man Bull. We've got the Not a Matador guy. Right. What's his name? I forgot. It's a Spanish word that I don't.
Was it like El Aguila or something?
Yeah. The eagle. I know what that means in Spanish.
El Aguila. Oh, okay. The eagle. And then there's the hedgehog. Hedgehog man.
Porcupine.
Porcupine.
Not Sonic.
Right. There's a large black man, not a small blue spiky boy. And then the vampire guy, whose name I feel like is
Saracen.
Are you guys familiar with any of those characters? Oh, they were all new to me.
I
know Man Bull and Porcupine.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them before, but they're characters that the only time I've seen them have been as like a throwaway villain to an opening. Not really. So it's like whoever the hero's beating up when the story starts. Not
right.
I'm not familiar with any of their real capers. So no, I'm not familiar with them.
Okay. Well, let's stay.
I didn't even think Saracen was a real.
Right. I just assume that they're real, just because there's so many characters that they can pull from. That they should be using existing. Right.
Like I guess, like part of me sees that, and part of me is like, these characters. I wouldn't be surprised if these would be the made-up ones, just because they're not planning on doing anything with these characters. So I can see them leaving the door open on their vampire crowd for later. I did think it was weird that Wrecker came back in.
Yeah.
That
was strange.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like they're definitely not going to actually have like a better wrecking crew come in later and have all of the tools.
Yeah, especially since they were able to, I guess the dude, the guy that she was dating, took her blood now, so they don't need the wrecking crew to try to do that.
Yeah.
I assume that he took her blood because that was what they said that they were going to do.
Right.
But we didn't see it.
That's true. We just send like those emoji emoji message. I think it had a syringe on there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It could mean that he injected her with something. Now she has more blood.
I did the opposite. I gave you extra blood.
Haha.
Um,
I mean, that is how they beat the villain at the end of Blade,
That's
first
true.
one.
it's
He
true. Yeah.
needs so much blood.
Hmm.
That's also how you can beat a wood tick.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
You
just that's
don't
part of their
you
normal life cycle
don't let them go, and you just make them keep sucking.
Uh-huh.
until they explode.
Yeah.
In the blood.
Especially and mosquitoes. Those ones you can just like squeeze your skin and they get stuck,
Mhm.
and then they actually do
tried that?
pop. Yeah. I mean, it's really gross.
Yeah,
But
but it's not significantly grosser than what's already going on. You know, mosquito biting.
Especially if like your solution is
Yeah,
because it still ends up exploded.
right.
yeah, but like when you squeeze it, like there's like a full on like your blood bath on your arm.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, if you squeeze it, like it pinches the skin and holds it. But like the way mosquitoes are designed, like they can't.
Right.
They just pull out. They don't
Mm,
stop
right.
drinking. So
Just pull out and don't stop is we were sort of skirting a line there. I'm glad that you had more to add to the sentence.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, here's the thing: is don't pull out or can't pull out and not stopping. That's always going to end badly for you. So it's a good PSA no matter what.
Yeah,
Oh, always a mess involved.
it's true. So yeah, don't just leave it in. Just leave it in. That's the
Yeah.
moral of the story. Oh, yeah. So I was thinking of watching this of like how much I wanted Jen to be able to date this guy Josh and for that to work
Mhm.
out okay. And I'm thinking I don't think it's going to happen in this show, which is going to meet a good guy.
Yeah.
It feels like the opposite of what we would see in a sitcom starring a dude. He would date and bang like 3 or 4 people throughout the series, the season, and then find somebody at the end. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, it is possible that she's going to find someone that she likes at the end of the season.
Right.
Or it's possible that she's going to realize that she doesn't need another person to complete her life, which
Hmm.
is also
Yeah.
healthy.
Right.
Yeah. Self-actualization, all that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I I don't think that that's what they're going for with that. I think, especially since we have so few episodes left, I think they're just setting up season 2 or
Mm.
something for like Secret Invasion or something along those lines. So,
Oh.
because that's one thing that we haven't gotten a lot of in the TV series is crossovers where like if you haven't watched one series that you won't see where it starts out in the next one. Like we've had some cameos, but not a lot of real cross pollination.
Right.
They've teed up stuff for the movies, but they haven't really, w- with the possible exception of WandaVision.
Mhm.
You didn't need to have watched any of the TV shows in order to understand the subsequent movies.
But like you haven't had like the events of Winter Soldier and Falcon didn't affect Miss Marvel in any
Mhm.
way, shape, or form.
Right.
Which, I mean, eventually they got to start doing right. That the shows have to
Affect each
start
other.
touching. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because they put out so many shows every year, it's gonna be an expectation if you're watching it, that it's gonna be
Though
part of the movies.
hopefully they're gonna slow down on the movies and the TV shows a little bit,
Mm.
because a lot of the reason why we got like so much stuff so quickly one after the other is because uh, the pandemic sort of backlogged them on parts.
Right.
Also,
I mean,
it's just burning people out. Like I'm a huge fan of all of this that's going on, and I love it. And I'm like, I would take more. More would be fine by me. Like
Yeah.
I would like to have a new Marvel thing every single week of the year. But I have a lot of friends that are just like, yeah, no, I'm starting to care less and less.
And I think like I'm with Chad on the fact that like I could just, if there was every night of the week newish Marvel stuff for me to watch, I'd probably be happy. But yeah, just because I know that producers are going to look at it and be like, "Oh, we didn't make as much money on this one. Marvel's done," and just
Mhm.
bail. Um, I'm hoping they throttle back just a little,
Right.
and continue making quality stuff, but not try to out quantity everything else.
Yeah. It's like even with the comic books, like there's you only can read so many series every month, right? And there's
Yeah.
a certain books you're not reading. You just can catch up on their storylines whenever there's a crossover or something.
No, I read everything I'm interested in.
Well,
But I will say that like I read a lot of the stuff that I'm interested in, and then I'll go and I'll backlog stuff that once a crossover comes up, and I'm like, oh, what happened to those guys? I'll go catch up. But even the stuff that I'm interested in, there's like years where it's like, nothing cool is happening here, or it's too much that has happened to the point that I don't care anymore. Like,
right.
I think I was just reading Guardians of the Galaxy to find out how I was catching up on my Agent Venom, and they
Ooh,
went from like
that is many Guardian series ago,
yeah
because that thing
Oh,
gets relaunched like on a yearly basis almost.
yeah, but in just in the chunk that I was reading, they like stopped a intergalactic war, stopped a second intergalactic war, stopped a super weapon that could destroy the entire universe, and it was just like, this has been 15 comics, guys. Like, just deal with something. Like, let one of these things simmer for a while, and it'd be a lot more interesting. But
right.
um, and that's just kind of the nature of comics, is that there's plenty of times where it's like the individual stories are good, but once they're back to back like that, you can't like one as much as you liked the ones that have come right before it. So
That's one of the things that was great about like the Claremont X-Men back in the day was, no, I mean, first off, there was only one X-Men title,
Mhm.
so that really helped.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, they had like issues where it was just like everyone's chilling. They're like playing baseball or something.
Right.
And that it gave people like room to breathe and deal with the after effects of whatever the last big story was.
Right.
And now it's just like, oh, we just had an event in this thing. Now let's have an event in this thing. Now let's have an event in this thing. And certain characters are dragged into every single one of those. And certain ones are like, oh, I just did 4 events. I can't deal with anything else right now.
Yeah. It's used to be too much. Oh.
Yeah, it's like reading comics. It's like every year there's an end game.
Uh,
And eventually it's just like none of these feel as big as Endgame anymore.
yeah.
right, because they're constantly happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Spider-Man that I'm also reading right now. There's this thing where like he got hit by two villains at once, and like one of them like had some sort of like radioactive poison, and the other one had something else, and I forget what. But the two chemicals mixed, and then with his own radioactive blood, um, it changed the chemistry, and he almost died.
Mm.
And then like he got better, but there was like a 4-issue run of him just trying to get good enough to be Spider-Man again.
Mm.
Like in one episode, Captain America showed up and like chucked his shield, and it hit Spider-Man. And like as Spider-Man's falling down, Captain America's just like, "Dude, you usually jump. I'm so sorry." And it's like it's such a small scale thing of just being like, "Oh, Spidey's sick. Like he needs to
Right.
take a minute," and
Yeah.
that's much more gripping than it's like, "Oh, Spider-Man has to fight Galactus again." Like that.
Nope. Yeah, but that it does make me think about like how like on TV shows they used to be, a lot more episodic, right? So it would be like something like Lost, where they were they had like the big story going on, but then every once in a while they just had these filler episodes because they just had to fill up time because they needed to make 20 episodes or whatever for the season. So they would have the episodes about Jack's tattoo or something, but when everything's so planned and so busy and have so much stuff that has to happen all the time that you don't get to have those weird little things like that. Hmm. Like there was an episode I've been watching Sailor Moon. There's an episode like in the middle of the first season where they're going to go to the beach, but they have to stay at this like beach house. But it's like a Transylvanian mansion, and like the Wolfman and Frankenstein and stuff are working there. It's like, what does this have to do with anything? It's just a weird episode they stuck in the middle because they were running out of ideas, but they had to make 22 episodes or whatever.
I've never gotten into Sailor Moon,
Yeah.
so I don't even know if it's like how weird that would be. Like I don't know if like do they fight monsters? Like
Yeah, but generally it's like it's a monster is somebody it is pretending to be a person trying to sell something that is popular to young girls. Like, oh, this is the new shoes you have to buy to be popular. And then everyone buys them, and then they're using it to suck out other people's souls. And then Sailor Moon shows up and beats the monster. It's basically every episode, but it's a different product every time. So it's very strange to have a Frankenstein Wolfman episode in the middle.
Yeah, Sailor Moon is definitely one of those properties where it's like I've picked up enough about in cultural osmosis
Right.
that I understand what the deal is, but I've never actually watched enough to know exactly what the deal is.
Right.
Like it's like I know who the people are, and I have a basic understanding of what they do, but I have no idea what they've ever done.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I used to watch it in the morning when I was getting ready for school. And it would come on at like 6 o'clock in the morning before school. And so I saw this on Hulu. I'm gonna try to watch one episode a day. Just have it on. I don't really. It's kind of like I said, it's got the formula is pretty set in that. Even though like the whole first season, like halfway through the first season, it's only met half of the Sailor Scouts.
Hmm.
So not even
Now
all
maybe
there
it's just like a decompressed storytelling thing.
yet. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll do a whole show just about Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that could be
Oh.
like I can't think of a Sailor June.
Oh yeah, be Sailor June.
Yeah.
I know just enough about it to know that even though they're like the Sailor Scouts, they don't have a boat,
Hmm.
Oh,
which I threw me off when I was like, "Oh, this is a nautical theme thing." No, they're not. They're not pirates. Or, huh? Um, but yeah, I thought the animation was good in this episode throughout.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like this one was moving the plot forward, but nothing actually happened in it yet. So it's like all set up for the next episodes where
Right.
someone's after her blood, but we don't even know what they want to do with it yet. Like we just assume it's bad. It could be that they're, I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't think of any reason why to surreptitiously take someone's blood that's not bad, but
right. Especially
I
it's secret. Yeah. Usually if you're gonna take someone's blood, without their consent, it's usually not for something good. This could be part of the secret wars. That's the secret.
The secret is blood.
Yes. That's gonna be
That
yeah.
that's why Blade is going to be such an important character in Phase 6.
Yeah, they keep doing all this vampire stuff. I did try crayon for Sailor Jupiter's prom pictures with Solid Snake, so that's why she's in a date with Solid Snake.
it looks like Solid Snake borrowed his shirt from Han Solo.
Oh yeah, it's like the best. I was trying to click on the wrong screen. Yeah, yeah, she's got the Sailor Moon's outfit on. It's not the green. So the AI is not there yet. We're getting closer every day.
It all depends on the AI program that you're using and whether or
Yeah,
not you're allowed to refine things. Because
yeah.
that's what all of like the big AI stuff is like you're just iterating and refining and all of that. And those people are like we're artists because we write different words in the machine and the machine does different things. It's like you mean the machine's creating different art based on your prompts,
Yeah.
that it's really just taking from other people and they're like this looks kind of like that word. So it's you're not making art, the machine's making art. What the machine's really doing is just stealing other people's art and piecing it together.
I mean, that's
That's
what.
your AI art.
Yeah, that is what making art is, though. Right? Isn't it in a way? Taking someone else's
Yes,
ideas.
but you're not copy pasting it. You're digesting it and regurgitating it in a different way.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
our art is obviously made from our experiences and our skills,
Yeah.
but it's not literally like taking pieces of things.
yeah, it's really about how good your copy paste is.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if your copy paste is really good, people will like it, but none of us is as good as a computer at copy paste.
Hmm.
I do want to know though, like have you tried putting in traffic light into the AI and just see how close it is to proving that it's not a robot?
Yeah, I need to do that now.
Like
I,
that's
I'm
my
sh-
Turing test.
I'm sure that it can do that. The thing that you got to ask it afterwards is like, okay, which part of this picture is the traffic light?
Oh,
Mm.
Because it knows that there's a traffic light in the picture somewhere.
right. It's gonna be a picture of a whole city, and yes, there's got to be one in there somewhere.
Mhm.
There's going to be a picture of the traffic light closest to your house.
Yeah.
Mhm. We're watching you.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode is I don't know what to say about it. Well, they within the hedgehog, not hedgehog, porcupine. What's the difference
Yes.
between a hedgehog and a porcupine? Anybody know?
Porcupine
Porcupine's
has
quills are
quills,
much longer.
Mm. Okay.
and I think they like pop out.
Yeah,
That's
can
it.
they shoot? Can they shoot their quills, or is that just something that I learned from cartoons?
There's one kind that can shoot them a little bit.
Okay.
Like when it'll like they'll like pop out, like, but it's not like an aim and fire thing.
Projectile. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
It's just
They
how it always been
they're
out, but it can't be right.
they're not like with great force or aim,
Hmm.
but they are expelled.
Crazy. It's just crazy. I guess this is what I tried when I put traffic light pictures of wait a minute, pictures with a traffic light circled, and they just gave us circular traffic lights, which I don't think is quite right. So yes, hasn't figured it out yet.
The lower right hand corner does look like an EDM album from the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Back when it was called techno.
According to Google, they can't shoot them. They
Mhm.
just are very loosely in there.
Alright. Well, that makes sense.
So it's closer to like a lizard losing its tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. You just touch the tip of it, it'll get, once it gets stuck to you, yeah, it'll just pop right off of them without them having to do anything. That's kind of what I'm picturing. Oh, you guys have never had a been stuck? Is it called being stung? Man, I don't know nothing about porcupines.
I think it's stuck.
Stuck. Yeah. You've been stuck by a porcupine or a hedgehog?
I don't think hedgehogs stick people. I think they're just kind of pokey.
Yeah. The hedgehog, as long as you don't go against the spines, they don't even poke you. It's mostly like a deterrent for like biting them. Like
Right.
that would hurt.
Don't put them in your mouth.
Like I've pet a hedgehog. Their quills going the other way are pretty soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen like pictures of people like holding hedgehogs in their hand like this. I've never seen anyone hold a porcupine.
Yeah, I think porcupines are bigger too, right?
They are bigger and their spines are a lot longer. Like a hedgehog can fit easily in a grown person's hands, and a porcupine is like a small beaver, which is the size of a large cat.
Yeah, it's like a cat.
I was just thinking to myself, I don't know the size of beavers.
Beavers cut down trees with their mouths, so they're large-ish.
Can they shoot their teeth out, or am I making that up?
I think that one is definitely true.
Their jaw has a chain, so they can actually whip them around like nunchucks. They're not really projectiles,
right? Yeah, they can chew up a tree and then just spit the branches.
Yeah, and when they shed their tail and learn to fly, they're called langoliers.
Because yeah, porcupine in the show. That guy. I got a little bummer when he took his mask off, and then everyone was grossed out by him and when I put his mask back up. That doesn't seem like a healthy thing to do in your therapy group.
Especially when the whole thing is like, we want you to like not barrier yourself. Be like, oh no, please barrier yourself. You smell bad.
So reason you put that stuff on because you're gross. You should have it on. You were right. You don't have a neurosis. You're totally right. You're how you think. And sometimes you need your therapy to tell you that.
Well, like that's the. I feel like that's kind of where they missed it. Is like I don't even want to say missed it, but like the part that I felt off put by was that they only went after the low hanging fruit, and none of it was like all of it would have been really bad therapy, and none of it was like good therapy. But this is still a funny situation.
Right.
So yeah, I just like making fun of him for being gross. That was just a little bit on the harsh side. I did really like the line where he was like, just because I'm Spanish, and the one dude was like, Spanish is not an ethnicity, where I was just like, that is the kind of dumb shit that I would expect in therapy.
It's definitely something you can imagine people saying. I'm sure that one of the writers probably heard someone say that to them to their face.
But yeah, I feel like they tried to come back on she actually sat down and went through the therapy and it was beneficial to her. That they were like,
Right.
oh, yeah, we're making a joke, but this actually worked. But it didn't feel like the writers actually believed it. Um, like, I don't know. If it was any other group of people and the show spent as much time making fun of that group of people and then at the end was like, it's okay. I feel like it'd be easier to point out. But
Yeah. I just feel like maybe had higher expectations of what they were going to do joke wise with this kind of stuff, with these sort of topics.
yeah, especially because like I think they've like delved into this a couple of times, and each time I was like, I feel like this one kind of missed the mark, and this time was like the first time they really sat down and examined it, and I was like, oh yeah, some of these writers just why this don't understand how this could not be funny.
Right.
And I guess that's surprising to me, just because like both the Hulk and She-Hulk and the bulk of this show have all had like a lot of mental health aspects. Like that's
Right.
kind of what they're playing around with, and to treat it that like it's not serious to some people, that seems weird to me.
Right.
Like it's almost seems as weird to me as if they were constantly putting her in compromising situations whilst at the same time making feminism the bulk of the show, where it'd be like, part of me feels like you don't understand what you're writing about, and that's kind of how I felt with the mental health aspect. Is like, oh, you guys are really hitting on her mental health, but also making fun of the search for mental well-being. And I don't like, it almost feels like the writing room has two different versions of what they think the show should be.
Right.
And this episode, the other side won more.
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that's the tone of the show is weird because of how silly it gets sometimes, but then it's still dealing with these more serious things. So okay, the balance doesn't feel right.
The idea of combining the empowered character or the empowered female character with sexually compromising positions, I feel like was half of the comic books that I read in the 90s, and at least a couple of television shows that I've seen.
Yeah.
For sure. And that, I guess that's where I'm coming from, is like from one of those comic books or those TV shows where it's like, oh, this is clearly written by a bunch of dudes that don't understand the concept of feminism at all. And that's why it's not coming out that well. Part of me on this one is just like, oh, like every other part of this show seems like it's really being created by people that love what they're doing. It's weird that none of those people have gone to therapy. Like that's just the
part of me is wondering whether or not the divide on this idea of therapy in the show is because all of the jokes about it are basically aimed towards the male characters. And like I don't know how much of that is like in actual like either a sexist divide or a statement that's trying to be made, versus how much of it is just, well, we're not really getting in that deep into Mallory or Nikki,
Right.
who are the really only other female characters that we see. Oh, also Titania.
Right.
But
Kind of
it's like, but it's like I don't know whether the thing is like, it's like, oh yeah, you know, guys thinking that like therapy is this versus like this is what it's supposed to be, or if it's like you said, no one actually seems to understand therapy in the writing world.
Right. Or at least the desire to have the joke of being, look at these supervillains being silly by being in therapy. That's more important than being trying to be more accurate with it, or be more sensitive to how it is actually works.
Yeah, like it would be nice if they do a season 2 of this show, if they have Doc Samson come in and be like, "Wow, you guys don't understand this at all."
So what kind of doctor is Doc Samson? I just know.
He's a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay.
Or actually, is he a psychiatrist or is he just a therapist? Is he not actually a
Hmm.
doctor?
I think he's actually a doctor because, in addition to the psychoanalysis, he also knows the medical stuff that goes behind, like what the superpowers physically do to your psychology, not just how you handle it.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, am I crazy, or was he played by the dad from Modern Family?
Oh, he was.
Okay, so that would be fun. Just bring the same guy back.
Hmm.
And I also just want to say that, like, I feel like this episode finally gave me something to critique about the series. I still really enjoyed, like, I didn't walk out of this and be like, "Marr," or anything. It was still like, oh, this was fun. But if it weren't for the fact that those guys were all villains, so they kind of had it coming to them, I would feel bad about how their therapy went.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I did feel like it was weird when the record guy was there, and he's like, "Oh, I sincerely apologize and take radical responsibility for my actions," but he doesn't really do anything to show that he's actually sorry about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, he said it, and he's in this therapy situation, so I guess we believe it, and she just forgives him. That's, I don't know. But there's another thing you think you would be treated more like, hey, you were part of a gang of dudes that attacked a tiny woman at her home. Just get to apologize, and then that's fine, even if you really mean it. Does he really mean it?
well, even
Yeah,
if
I
you are
think that
sorry,
her
you still committed a
reaction was
crime.
Yeah,
absolutely justified.
right.
Yeah, like, and I guess that's the playing, or this has nothing to do with, like, the show. Is mostly like the zeitgeist of people talking about these issues, which I feel is more of a criticism of, like, Marvel and the rest of the industry just in general. But like I feel like the danger for a lot of these is, like, setting up. It's almost like they're setting up a straw man to explain an argument, and have a villain force that argument, but then, like, they don't do a good enough job rounding out the straw man. So there's giant chunks of it where it's like, I don't think, I know this is what you wanted to say, but I don't think you earned it through what you created in content. Like, like you just said, and they brought up in the show of, like, he and his 4 friends attacked a woman in an alleyway, which sounds awful. And I'm not trying to say that they weren't villains that did it.
Right.
But they also knowingly attacked a She-Hulk. It's not like the 4 guys outside of the bar that were trying to hit on a girl that were accosting a girl that clearly wasn't up for shit.
Right.
Like, they were going after a known superpowered individual. Like, taking 4 people to do so it's less toxic masculinity and more just not enough supervillains to take out the superhero you went after. Which
You could say that was a toxic masculinity thing, though.
I think that was the motivation.
These are definitely going to be enough guys, and it's like, no, No, you need more.
Yeah.
It's like those guys that they uh, they see like Serena Williams playing, and they're like, I bet I could score a few points on her. I may not be able to win, but
Just by
And-
being a dude. I don't know how to play tennis, but yeah, I'll probably figure it out. Against a girl.
mm,
which I don't. I guess like I don't want to take away from that character being a douchey dude, or like support him or whatever. But like, it just felt weird in the show that she, as a character, kind of put herself in that like much lower tier of like, you attacked me and I'm just a helpless girl, even though I'm clearly a Hulk that chucked you across a room. Like,
Right.
I feel like Jennifer Walters, the character, would have just stopped at, you attacked me in an alley behind my house, not, and I was helpless.
Right.
Like, and so that's where I feel like it's not, it's the writers putting this stuff in that it's like they didn't carefully think about like how that would come out. So just it was a line that I was like, I don't think that this character would have said that line, and it took me out for just a second.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, weird. Also, does that guy have powers, or is it he just had a magical crowbar?
like, are you talking about in comics or in this show?
I think in the show.
Yeah.
We don't.
Everyone else is some sort of a super villain. But he was just a thug who stole a tool off of a work site.
Are all the other people that we see in the show supervillains,
I don't
like
know.
with
In that
powers, or are they just guys in suits?
Hmm. But at least that's something.
We don't know that Porcupine has anything beyond his suit.
Right.
Manbull is definitely a
He is
You
definitely
have to have both.
something else. And El Aguila in comics is actually a mutant.
Yeah.
Uh,
But not allowed to use the
and
word mutant anymore. Still, right?
we'll discuss that later when we watch a different show. But they are allowed to use it now because they bought Fox, so they have the rights to mutants. And Saracen's a vampire, so obviously
Right.
he's got somewhat more than human powers. Also, he's apparently the kind of vampire who can be outside in the daytime because that's what was going on outside the yurt. Him
Yeah, it's
standing
true.
there
Same.
in what is presumably the sun.
Yeah.
well. They did
That's
say that
true.
he thinks he's a vampire, not that
Oh,
he's
okay.
a vampire yet. But he did also mention his father, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's like actually another version of Blade.
No. It's Blade's son. So he's like a quarter day walker. Or something.
Maybe he's like what's the kid with the same birthday as Harry Potter?
Neville
Yeah,
Longbottom.
where it's like, oh yeah, no, you qualify for all of the same things as the supposed savior guy. It's just that you're not him.
Oh.
He's the special one. You're another guy.
You were the 399th person that had their family murdered.
You're a
Better
daywalker,
luck
not
next time.
the daywalker.
Right.
The problem is you jog too much, and day jogger just doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh.
He also did get thrown across the room by a Hulk and seemed to have been fine afterwards.
Right.
So maybe he does have a little bit of powers. Who knows?
Okay. Maybe.
well,
Yeah,
also,
like
I don't know if that's like just TV logic too, because like in real life, if I fall down and hit a table, I'm hurt.
Right.
But on TV, I could go through a wall and be like, oh, as long as I didn't hit anything electrical, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So,
Then the wall broke your fall, right? So that's-
Yeah, it's like, was it drywall? If it's drywall, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't hit the stud.
Mhm.
You'll be fine.
but in like real life, have you ever tried to tackle through drywall that was supported in any way, shape, or form? It
No.
sucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I made that mistake while while tearing down stuff. Well, I can go through the wall, so there's no stud there.
Yeah.
And it still feels like walking into a wall, like maybe a shittily constructed wall, but
Right.
it still hurts.
Yeah.
There, other than things like paper,
Hmm.
curtains, beads, maybe,
Oh,
there are
yeah.
very few things that you can run through that are going to be as easy to run through as it looks to run through.
Yeah.
Because there was a game that me and some of my friends used to play one day that got invented while we were super super high, and it was, I don't remember what it was called, but basically it was you run at a bush as hard as you can and you
Oh,
try and jump through it,
Yeah.
and you hope that you're not hitting like the main part of the bush,
right. Yeah. Just
because
going for the
that
branches.
part has zero give. And as we found out, even the parts that aren't the central part of the bush have
Right.
less give than you would think.
I feel like the only time that a bush has less give than you would actually think it would be is if you try to jump on it from above, like to break your fall, because
Right.
then it almost always just completely gives way, lets you slam on the ground, and then like snaps around you.
Mhm.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Because you're coming at it. If you're coming at it from above, right?
right.
It's gonna break it. But if you're coming at it from into it, then it's got more structural integrity, I guess.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I feel like if something climbs up on top of me, I can hold it, but if it comes
Right.
at me from the side, it's
Yeah.
gonna take me out.
Because the branches and stuff are going
Yeah,
horizontally.
'cause
But yeah, as a human, you're
you're not
vertical.
made like a bush.
Yeah. Despite what your haircut
Thank
says.
you. Well, fuck you. You know, I like Chad better now. Thanks for having me on your stream, Chad.
Uh,
Like, you just like did the double sin of making fun of my hair and
Yeah.
cutting off my joke where I was making fun of my hair.
Oh.
So like,
I had to get in
now
there
as
before you did.
yeah, I just
he
I'm
was
gonna sit
getting
here and
there.
see it.
Yeah.
He was about to say that.
Think of it, the obvious joke. You just gotta run for it.
That'd
And
be hilarious if during a slam dunk contest, it was like it, only the first person to get the ball in there actually gets their dunk scored. Like it's a simultaneous slam
Right.
dunk contest.
yeah, like it completely flips the script on that like Hot Shots game
Right.
where you get a bunch of balls, but only one of them goes in, and everybody has to jump. And there's got to be the trampoline for
Yeah.
everybody, yeah. And sharks underneath the hoop.
Laser beams. Whole thing.
Well, no, that's the thing is all of you have the thing that's the harness, right? And only if you get the ball in does your harness hold you. So everybody else just falls.
I like this game.
Yeah.
This should be the new Rock and Jock. I would watch it on MTV.
I don't know the last time they did one of those. That's what it is. Old, early 2000s.
Whenever it was, there was much less reality television happening.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if they did it now, it would literally be like 5 musicians and everyone else would be from some reality show.
Yeah.
And in fact, some of the musicians might be from reality shows.
Because it would count as a reality show as opposed to that sort of a
Mhm.
sports competition show.
Like the only actual athlete that would show up would be The Miz as a former reality show star, former and current actually, because he started on the Real World and then he maintained his name through wrestling or grew his name through wrestling enough that WWE got him a reality show.
Oh.
Wow.
Ms. and Mrs.
Oh yeah. What else would you call it?
Hmm.
Did see one potential plot hole in the episode.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She-Hulk could just pick up her car and run home.
Mhm.
That's true. As She-Hulk, yeah.
Like, she clearly runs really fast and really far from what we saw in that first episode. And she
Yeah.
can definitely pick up a car.
I wouldn't call that a plot hole as much as that it just shows that she doesn't think of She-Hulk as a way to solve her problems as much as she probably should.
Mhm.
She has to accept that She-Hulk side of herself and probably have less problems.
I wouldn't call it a full on plot hole, but I could absolutely see that being a thing they talk about on Cinema Sins.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have accepted if that had been like a throwaway line of like, why don't you just pick up the car and run home? And it's like, I'm not running in. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, or that it's being covered by Abomination's insurance or something.
Yeah.
Getting the car towed and repaired would also be a
Right.
very good reason
Yeah.
for her to stick around. But I think it was mostly that she wasn't thinking about it because she was just so obsessed about thinking about Josh.
Right. And when Abomination was saying all that stuff about this is the universe trying to show you something, you gotta look for it, whatever. And she was, despite what she was saying, she was listening to the universe.
I gotta say, I really, really like the fact that they got Tim Roth to do this dumb show.
He's having fun.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, I like the show. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially episodes like this.
I mean, I would feel worse about liking it as much as I do if I didn't think that it was intended to be exactly as dumb as it is.
Hmm.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it's not by mistake they were stupid.
Yeah. And it's not campy dumb where they're like, oh, this is such a stupid premise, we're just having fun with it. It's like, it's still in universe, like, this is just ludicrous, but also fun.
Yeah.
And like, even though all of my stuff about the mental health aspects not being fairly treated is still true, I do really like Tim Roth's portrayal of a basically found again Abomination turning his
Right.
back on violence and stuff. Because like he said, he thought he was going to be Captain America, and now he's a hippie.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Kind of bummed we didn't see any of his wives, his 10 wives or whatever. Maybe more occult stuff. It's cool. He's got a yurt.
Well, he's clearly well funded, so
Yeah.
Mhm. The,
those
as-
girls
as you-
all have jobs.
That's
Yeah.
right. They're all at work.
I wonder if any of them, like, I'm sure that it's not, but I wonder if any of them were also the people that were left by Mr. Immortal when he pretended to die. It'd be funny if one of them is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it 1/10 of his $1 million or whatever it was.
Hmm.
That's what's funding it. But did you guys ever watch the show Barry on HBO with what's his face?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one the parole officer for the Abomination. He was one of the cops on that show.
Oh,
Yeah, we're watching through that right now, me and my wife. So, oh, I know that guy. He's playing instead of a kind of dumpy parole officer, he's playing kind of a dumpy murder detective. He just plays cops or cop adjacent people.
Hmm.
he looks like a person of middling authority.
Yeah. Middle-aged dude with a mustache. The thing I wanted to bring up on this, and I forgot. Oh, yeah, and Jen wins Female Lawyer of the Year. Or something.
I
That was
think
fun.
that they said she was nominated for
Nominated.
it or
Oh,
something.
yes. I think she's gonna win that's gonna be the season finale.
I hope not, because I feel like she hasn't really done a whole lot. So
That's
unless
true.
it's like super powered female attorney of the year, then it would be like, oh yeah, no, like absolutely she should be a shoo-in for that.
Right. I wonder if it's one of those awards where it's like a popularity contest. She-Hulk gets a lot of TV coverage, so
Hmm.
of course she's gonna win this year.
I mean, I could see it being she is the only lawyer that in the middle of her defense actually physically apprehended another supervillain that was making an escape from court.
Hmm. It would also be funny if it was one of those like, oh, you've been nominated for this thing, where it's just like, yes, everyone who is one of those is nominated, and all we want to do is we want you to give us money for us to print out some sort of certificate for you,
Right.
and for you to say that you were, one of the people nominated for this
Yeah.
prestigious award. That
That's how the Academy Award got started.
because
Yeah.
the thing is, they mail that kind of stuff to law offices all the time.
Ah. No idea. I've been getting emails about we've been nominated for Twitch Stream of the Year.
Hmm.
Just,
How
I'm
many
now.
nominees are there? Is it all
yeah.
of them?
I think so.
I feel kind of shitty now that I don't work in an industry where I even get fake nominated
No.
or appreciated. Like, it's like, let's face it, this guy, he's never gonna believe that anybody nominated him for anything. Like, just save the stamp.
Yeah. He knows that nobody outside of this room knows his name, so
Yeah.
It could just be that the field is so large that they're just like, we can't trick anyone with this. We would have to be defrauding so many people.
Yeah.
Like the amount that we would spend on stamps to send it out to everyone with this job. Like what are you, customer care?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like to send a job for every financial industry customer care person in America is like, this is way more money than we would make from the amount of people that would respond to this.
no.
I'm just saying, like, if I got a letter in the mail that was just like, you've been nominated to be the best of 100 other guys that we randomly sent out a mailer to, just send this back in with $5, I'd be like, 100 dudes, I can beat it. I'll get something on that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I've seen Roy beat 100 dudes before. So he do handily.
Hmm.
Not people remember my career in porn, but
Oh, that's beating off 100 dudes.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, nobody remembers my career in porn.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, if you want to be reminded, just Google Roy beating up 100 dudes. You'll see.
So you just typed that into the AI thing, didn't you?
Here right now.
That'd be kind of funny just to enter people's names, like not famous people, and
Right.
just see what the AI spits out for
Yeah.
it.
I think I did try that once with David K. Jones, and it was a bunch of white dudes, like white-looking dudes.
None of them were David Bowie.
No.
I guess the AI is not so smart now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't do great with dead people.
That's a bit of trivia that the AI didn't know. But you know who knew that? Us. We
Yeah.
did. Because we're smarter.
Yeah. Also, even if I don't respond to them or pay attention, I know what a traffic light is all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it might be telling me to stop and I don't listen, but it's not because I
Right.
don't know what it is.
I know what you're saying. I acknowledge you. I choose not to listen. Vroom.
Wow. This is
It's
a.
hmm?
So I typed in Rory beating off 100 dudes.
Okay.
And the pictures that I came up with are related to a sport. Can you guess what sport it decided this must be related to?
I mean,
Boxing?
Quidditch.
Oh, Quidditch, boxing. The real answer is golf. It's a bunch of
Oh.
golfers.
No, because there's a
Oh,
famous golfer named Rory.
Oh, okay. There you go. But not 100 dudes. Just,
Rory McIlroy.
oh, okay. There you go.
which I'm so upset his name isn't Rory McIlroy.
Oh, good. Now I have a name for your character in the next wrestling video game that I buy.
Ooh.
It's my, that'll be my golf name in my golf fan fiction.
Is the name of the professional golfer with the same first name?
Yeah.
There's a PGA Tour golf game that's out there.
Oh yeah. It's
If you wanted to play that as Rory McIlroy.
I mean, I would definitely do that, except that the only thing less fun than golf to me would be a video game about golf.
I would actually put it as slightly more fun than real golf,
Oh yeah.
but that could also be because I don't drink anymore. Like that does take away from the game when
Yeah.
you're not getting more and more inebriated as the day goes by.
Right.
I just feel like
Oh no.
I've never actually played like a real game of golf, like on a golf course, but like when I've gone to the shooting range or played mini golf,
Hmm.
at least by the time I'm getting bored, I'm able to take out my frustration and hit something
Mhm.
Right.
progressively. Where with the video game, every time I played video game golf, I'm just like, this is like less cute Angry Birds.
Yeah. It's just clicking. It's not
Mhm.
nearly as fun as a game where you can just shoot something. So I tried Chad beating off 100 dudes. It's a bunch of people. I think the country Chad is what it would be.
Okay. And it does seem to be like there are some soldiers, but it looks like there's some like just fighting.
Yeah. So the actual beating of people,
Hmm.
it's getting closer.
I do like the Van Gogh-esque faces.
Weird
Like
I
magnet
feel like
faces.
this is because it's such a low powered AI.
Mhm.
It's just like yeah, we know what human faces look like.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Your brain's gonna fill in the gaps.
Mhm.
Periodolia. It's called something like that. It's a word I only know in right.
Although,
That's where you see faces and stuff.
oh,
Yeah. That's what that's called.
That's a thing that I didn't know before today.
Yeah. You see like Jesus' face in Toaster.
it's just it feels like the words pareidolia.
It's Periodolia. Yeah. We're gonna write out tonight on a YouTube video of how to pronounce that. You have to find that.
All right, because I feel like that's a word that like it's really hard to say with like the smug satisfaction of knowing that you're smarter than the person you just said the word in front of.
Yeah.
Ah,
Actually, I think what you're talking about is pareidolia. Like-
Yeah.
that it does sound made up and not as easy to rub other people's faces in.
Yeah.
You need words that are easier to pronounce, like Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
That's a real good one.
Okay, so I tried David beating off 100 dudes and biblical David.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But at least it says 100 dudes in it, at least.
That's true.
A large group of dudes.
Yeah, but that looks more like the 100 dudes are on David's side.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, after he
once you-
beats him off,
yeah.
of course he can be on his side.
Yeah. Have you ever been angry at someone after they beat you off? Yeah.
I mean,
To completion?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's the off part. Otherwise, yeah. Yeah, you're great. This guy's called cabbage.
Clearly you guys' self-esteem is much better than mine. Because like I've been so angry and disappointed that somebody else humbled themselves so much that yeah, I've been angry.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Angry for them, not at them.
You know, I expect better.
The reason why I asked to completion is because there was a girl that I was dating who fell asleep
Oh no!
before I finished, and I was just like,
Right.
"Well, this is pretty annoying."
Yeah, you can see that.
Like I'm not going to be mad at her,
Right.
but it's like it
I don't
feels
like
kind of
you more
rude.
now. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in that situation, like there's the double insult of like, A, you were so uninterested you fell asleep while, and you've left me with a problem. So
Yeah.
like, that's like extra shame if I solve the problem.
Yeah, it's a bad look for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if someone beats you without beating you off, right? Yeah, then hard feelings, I guess, as opposed to no hard feelings.
That's not the only thing that are hard.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So where will we put Stan Lee's cameo in this episode?
No truck driver.
Oh yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
I would have also accepted the guy putting steam in the yurt.
Oh yeah.
Like that would have been cool.
Oh, I wish they had 2 yurts. If they had 2 yurts, then she could walk into the one with Stan Lee. It could go, this yurt is occupied.
I would have also accepted him
It's a
mowing the
little
lawn for that like amazingly well kept thing.
Yeah. Doing something with the chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken keeper. Probably good. Yeah, so next week, episode 8, She-Hulk. Again, no idea what the episode's going to be titled.
It's probably going to have Daredevil in it, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to see her superhero suit that we haven't seen yet.
If I'm correct, we won't see that until the last episode. At least that's what they did with Daredevil and most of them that they didn't get. Right. It wasn't until they've gone through their origin story that they get the suit.
Well, we see in the background we've got her. I guess it's like her classic suit, right? It's like basically a one-piece bathing suit with the white and the purple.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be something like that. We're probably gonna have legs on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna have like full legs, but it's probably gonna be like mid-thigh or short shorts.
Okay. Probably not gonna see a lot of butt cheek.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get full on ass out.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll do a poll somewhere. What percentage of ass was going to be shown? We'll see who wins.
No matter how much ass is or isn't shown, I am sure there's a chunk of the internet that will be upset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Asses only seem to divide us instead of bringing us together. It's the true tragedy of asses. So yeah, next week, episode 8 of She-Hulk. And as we come to the close of She-tember. Actually, is this the beginning? We're halfway through She-tember.
It's the beginning of She-tember Part 2.
Yes. Which somebody called Shocktober or She-Hulktober or She-Hawktober. We're gonna figure it out by the end. One way or another. Yeah, we'll do that. Also, we're gonna start playing an RPG.
She-Hulk Tembertober.
Oh yeah, She-tember
She-Tembertober.
She-tember Hulktober. She-tembertober. Yeah, we'll go with that next week. Next week it's She-tembertober for episode 8. And yes.
October She-Hulk.
October.
October Hulk.
She.
That just sounds too much like Octomom.
We covered this already. We can't get away from October.
October. Waltober.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Like that. Jen
Waltober.
Next week is Jen Waltober for episode 8. We're going to write out tonight on how to pronounce Peridolia.
Peridolia, I think.
Peridolia. I don't know what
that's my guess. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Rory, what's your guess?
Peridolia. That would be my guess.
Okay. Hope we can hear it this time. Do you guys
tend to see faces even when there aren't any? It's called pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
Because humans are so...
It is important to separate the two.
The two, hallucination and pareidolia.
Yes.
Oh,
that they're not.
Just people saying this in different videos.
This is the phenomenon known as pareidolia. It's our tendency to see ourselves in stuff where we don't really exist.
Related to another thing we talk about in the course, which is
I'm starting to really question this because that first guy's hair and that other guy's hat, like I'm starting to get serious ancient alien vibes.
Yeah, and half of these people are
with
British.
The hat looked like he had a lion face to me.
Well, that's pareidolia right there.
Yeah,
like he reminds me of Ron Perlman in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, so dark.
Not as good looking.
Related.
Yeah, so I don't trust any of those.
No, not that one. The long-haired one.
Oh, okay. The guy in the hat
think
looks like that kid from, or that dude from Battlestar Galactica, the XO that was an alcoholic, just wearing a hat, talking about conspiracies.
Yeah.
Colonel Ty.
Yeah.
He did that. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah.
All right, Emma.
One day we'll
tell us how to say it.
Pareidolia.
Say it again.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia?
Parai.
Is that what she said?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia? Parai.
Parai?
I don't trust computer voices either.
Pareidolia.
Parai. No, I can't. She's waiting too long between saying it.
Parai. Pareidolia.
Parai.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Okay. Think that we got it.
I feel like she has an accent, though.
Yeah. Man, this is too hard. Why is this so hard? Wait, what about the Cambridge?
This would be a lot easier if we understood how all of those diacritical markings worked.
Yeah. So this is going to the Cambridge.
That's
Dictionary.
the next week's YouTube video is an explanation of how those work.
I don't know how they work. I just know that they're called diacritical.
Yeah.
Which is a
pareidolia.
To say diacritical is actually what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
Like you sound like you're in charge, but like, it's like what's the diacritical? I'm pareidolia.
It looks. Oh yeah, the difference between the English, UK English, and the.
What does the UK one sound like?
Pareidolia.
Versus.
Pareidolia.
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 That's softer A. So.
Pareidolia.
Yeah, that's just an accent. It's not like they're adding an extra U there.
Yeah. So I think in the US.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. So now we go. According to Cambridge. Yeah, so there you go. You learned something, everybody. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye.